all of your running hard each day, growing the wheel of your dreams so that no obstacles on the road to success can stop you. And that's exactly why we are prepared this, the Make Imperial talk show, where we explore the success know-how and leadership philosophy of Atomi's top leaders. Today, we are honored to welcome two special guests, Imperial Master Kim Sang, Kim Sang, Yara and Crown Master Kim Sa. Let's begin our conversation with him. I'm I'm curious how the two of you came to appear together, Imperial Master and Kim Sa, Crown Master, to join here. Is there a practical reason for that? Crown Master Kim Sa is actually my brother-in-law. Because of that, he has known me very well from the very beginning. And I have also been closely watching his entire journey from his early days in the business all the way to where he is now. So I thought the two of us would have plenty of stories to share. Though I have to admit, though I must say that when we stand together, we do make quite powerful impression together. Not at all. You look absolutely great together. Our outfits even feel coordinated and the tones match so well. You really look fantastic on screen. So Crown Master Kim-sak, I'd love to hear how you felt when you were invited to appear together. What were the thoughts of feeling when you got the call? Of course, there shouldn't I? We expected the invitation. Well, I may have given him a bad trouble over the years, but I'm also brother-in-law, so we asked. I gladly said yes. Great, we are really looking forward to the two of you shining in today's show. Now, I'm sure the Global Atomic members watching this broadcast are very curious about one thing. How did these leaders achieve their success? So first, Imperial Master Kim Sang-yeol. I would like to ask about your beginnings and what led to Atomic business and what was the background behind your journey. I was someone who had completely failed. From my 20s onward, all I ever did was business, nothing else. But that time I turned 40, I had become a credit delinquent. I was a man who had lost everything and absolutely no hope left. Yet while living with the man who had no hope, my wife's face kept looking brighter and prettier day by day. So I thought something is definitely going on here. And eventually I found out she had simply changed her skincare products and that's why she was looking so much prettier. That made me wonder, can cosmetic really make someone this beautiful? So I asked my wife, that must be expensive, right? But she said, no, they are affordable. I checked online to see for myself and it was true. In Korea, the prices were really low. That's when a thought hit me. Could this possibly be a strong business item? And from there, I started to looking into it seriously. So after seeing at Tommy's Cosmetics and recognizing its potential, is that when you decided to jump into the business? Yes, that's right. At the time, Korea's basic skincare market was about 2 trillion won in size. So I thought with the level of quality of this kind of price, how far could the company grow? I started calculating it in my head. Since I had been doing business from a young age, I naturally looked at it from business perspective. Honestly, I didn't intend to sell anything myself. My thought was simple. If my wife can sell just a bit cosmetic and earn maybe a few $100s, that could help us prepare for our next business. But then my wife actually wanted to go and sell. It wasn't easy. I couldn't bring myself to talk to other people about it at first. But the more I looked into it, Tommy, the more I thought that this is a business I have to do. This is really has a potential. Although I'm going to try this myself. And then my wife said something memorable. She told me, didn't I say I should only come out once I later on? Then why don't you go out and sell? If you do that, I won't step forward. Back then, when I looked at the mirror, I saw the man with the belly sticking out, a face that looked completely broke. I honestly have no idea where I found the courage to go and sell cosmetics. I didn't look like someone who could convince anyone of anything, but even then, you clearly saw the vision and believed it worked, right? I couldn't guarantee success 100%. The company itself looked very small and modest at the time, but there were two things I was absolutely confident about: the quality of the product and the price. Those two things gave me a conviction to take the first step. I thought to myself, with this kind of quality of this kind of price, I can definitely sell it. But then the next question was, how am I actually going to sell it? So I finally worked up the courage, grabbed the cosmetics, and went out to meet people. But as soon as I saw a woman walking toward me, my legs would start shaking. Around that time, there were happened to be news everywhere saying a new cosmetic had launched that was 100 times better than anything else. And that became my opening to start talking. I found a video online, and when I played it, the content was so good. It explained why the product was created, where it was made, and even why it was said to be 100 times better. All the simple 3-minute clip. So I thought, I don't even need to explain anything myself. All I have to do is to show the video. And honestly, it was perfect. But it is not easy to just walk up to a stranger and show them a video. Still, at the moment, a cosmetic shop happened to open its door, so I stepped inside and I walked in. I told myself the owner of the cosmetic store will know instantly how good this product is once she tries it. And when I tell her the price, she will know right away whether it's cheap or expensive. With only that thought in mind, I went in, and this right there was the DVD I brought with me. I walked in holding this, and with the finger, I just pressed play on the DVD player. A groundbreaking natural cosmetic manufacturing technology has been developed, one that delivers effects 100 times greater than conventional cosmetics. Korea's Atomic Energy Research Institute and venture company created this technology by irradiating natural compounds extracted from plant restoring their molecule structure and increasing their purity to nearly 100%. This allows the ingredients to penetrate the skin more easily, extending the longevity of makeup by up to 100 times. As the consumers increasingly prefer natural over synthetic ingredients, this technology aligns perfectly with the growing trend toward highly active natural compounds. When I played the video, the shop owner watched it with real interest. As she was watching, I picked the toner bottle and popped it twice, and I held it to her. Did I sell the product, or who really sold it? It wasn't me at all. The cosmetics sold themselves, and they sold inside the cosmetic shops to someone who truly knew quality. I didn't even give a fancy explanation. The product spoke for itself, and the shop owner understood instantly how good it was. That's why I walked in there with the confidence. Now remember, I have been going business since my 20s. So in the moment, what do you think went through in mind? If it works like this, then I know exactly how this can grow. And I thought at that moment the calculation was finished in my mind. I thought, this is it. People don't know how this product yet. But once they do, almost everyone will want to use it. That certainly hit me immediately. So then I asked myself, what should I do from this point on? And the answer was simple. Just let people know about this amazing product. Yes, I just need to let as many people as possible to know about this. I genuinely wanted to succeed, even though my circumstances weren't great at the time. But there was one thing I could still do. I could open my mouth and just start talking. And thankfully, I was talkative, and my tongue worked perfectly fine. My body was out of shape. I looked messy. And honestly, I didn't present well, but the product was excellent. And at the very least, I could move I just can talk. And I set a clear goal. I will tell 300 people a day. And beyond that, I will let everyone in my city know about this product. The city had about 600,000 residents. Do you think I managed to tell all of them? It's impossible. Telling everyone would be impossible, right? But no. Here's what actually happened. I shared the product with about 10,000 people, and that was enough. And that was a turning point. Just by telling 10,000 people, everything has changed. Out of 10,000 gains, 50 loyal consumers It was certainly doesn't sound easy. You have explained it so simply that I feel like we need to hear much more of the story. Now, sitting you next to the Crown Master Kim Sak, I would love to hear your story as well. How did you first started with at Tommy? The person sitting here is my brother-in-law and my older sister, Imperial Master Kim Kyung-soo. Whenever they find something good, they always bring it to me. And since I'm the youngest in the family, I guess they thought they would be easiest one to approach. So they came to me saying, hey, there's something you should see. They thought this DVD, just like the one you showed earlier, and they didn't even explain anything. They just said, here, play it. I opened it and watched it. And honestly, you know how it feels. You instantly know what's going on, right? You can sense it immediately. Oh, they have started something again, and yet this must be network marketing. They came to sign up the shop and open the DVD and started playing it. And honestly, my first reaction was, here we go again. And they're trying to scam me with something new. But I still remember how things were in the early days. Let me tell you what it was like. At the time, he was running a small sign shop. And things were really just had been involved in network marketing before, 5 or 6 years. And he still had a debt. So whenever I visited, his face was always dark, and he would just sit there, hunched over, looking worried and troubled. So I would sit there and nothing to do, and I just weighted down by worries. So I went to share something good with him. I remember walking toward his shop about 10 meters away wearing a suit. The moment he saw me, he said, this is a network marketing, isn't it? And do you know what I said? Yes, it is network marketing. You're right. Then I added, Bill, but your brother-in-law has started this. Your sister has started this. So tell me, shouldn't you help us out? Shouldn't you support us? His face instantly turned red. So he handed me this card and I swiped it, charging 300,000 PV right away. As soon as he saw the box, he said, what is this? I said to buy one. Why is it the whole box? I told him 300,000 PV means 3 boxes. His face turned bright red and he said, fine, I'll use it. I'll take it, but don't ever come back again. Yes, things were definitely dark back then. Of course, there were really tough times, and he absolutely hated anything related to network marketing. But I said, well, just in case, why don't you the least register? He really didn't want to do it. Since I had a credit issues at the time, he registered the account under my wife's name instead. So yes, he registered, but he did it very reluctantly. At the time, how did things move from there to you actually becoming a business builder? I would love to hear a bit more about what made you take the next step. To be honest, when the two of them came to see me, my sister didn't say much because I'm her younger brother, and she knows talking won't work on me. And I remember thinking, I already registered. I already bought the products. Isn't that enough? Why do you keep coming back? Just let me live my life. You see, our family once went through a complete collapse because of network marketing. And the family sticks together sometimes too well. When we push something, we all push together. And when we fall, we all fall together. For 2.5 years, they kept visiting me. Eventually, I even went to a seminar, and then one day seminar. But back then, I wasn't doing it Tommy as a full-time business. But looking back now, I realized attending seminars without actually committing to the business doesn't really change anything. I was just sitting there and coming back, nothing more. You see, many people in Atomy today just dip their toes into the business. They're not fully in, not fully out, not really doing the business, not treating it as a side job, not even being a proper consumers. There are so many people stuck in that in-between stage. And I knew that was exactly what was happening. In the beginnings, my brother-in-law said he wanted to give the business and try. His sign shop had no customers, no work coming. So because he was basically free, he started going to the office as if it was doing their business. For about 2 weeks, he acted like he was working. Then suddenly, as soon as the sign job came in, he disappeared. Just ran back to the sign shop, and I saw it, and I just watched quietly. Then a few months later, he came back again saying, I want to try the business one more time. And again, after about a month, he vanished the moment work appeared. Then came the third time he approached to me. The third time he said, I really want to do the business. And do you know what I told him? Sell the truck you use, sell the car that you use, and the side business. If you don't do that, don't even start this. Do you think that business is easy? And I said to him, at the same time, everything came down to survival. My wife said she would try the business, but she told me the same thing every time. Don't come back until you're earning 3 million won. We have to make a living. But did she make 3 million? But did I make a 3 million won right away? Not at all, nowhere close. During that period, I kept going back and forth of one-day seminars, and I attend few, then disappear whenever a sign-making job came in. I was completely inconsistent, and honestly, nothing was working. And then came to a success academy. I really didn't want to go because I believed that if I went there, I might actually succeed, and thought itself scared me at the time. Well, at the end of the day, it was really about survival. We need to make a living. So when my wife said she wanted to try the business, she told me the same thing. Don't come back until you're earned 3 million. I had experienced a failure before, and if I fail again this time, I'll just go work on a ship. I will go and run away. That was the level of determination I had when I began. And honestly, without that kind of resolve, I probably wouldn't have been able to start at all, especially after I experienced failure more than once. Once you choose to become a business, become a Tommy, a leader, you have to approach the business as a real and become serious and part of this job. And I imagine that when you first encouraged Crown Master Kim Sa to join, you must have seen something in him, some qualities of a true leader. Of course, he already had plenty of experience. He had worked in a network marketing before. He had run a business. He knew how to talk to people. So I knew that if he did this part properly and committed fully, he did all the qualities needed to succeed. That's why I encouraged him to so strongly. And in the end, he proved it. This is wonderful to hear. The teamwork and the trust you two share is really inspiring. But from a perspective, what do you really believe makes someone to be a true leader? What qualities should a good sponsor have? I believe the person who truly shapes you into a leader is your sponsor. My sister didn't really say much to me. We are family, and she knows talking to me directly doesn't work. But my brother-in-law, since he's an elder one, he would scold me whenever he had the chance. He used to call me in the evenings right at dinner time. Where are you? Come over. Hurry. I would think, oh, he wants me to come eat dinner. But my brother-in-law said it himself. He didn't call me to feed me. He called me to lecture me. Now my sister is an amazing cook. She cooks with such a generous hand, and her food is incredible. So whenever I called, I would get excited thinking, great, I'll get to eat something delicious. At least let me eat first, right? But no, before I could even touch the food, he would start scolding me. To be honest, Crown Master Kim Sak already had all the qualities of the leader, but there were many things he couldn't see himself, things that I could see clearly. And because I truly wanted him to succeed, I pushed him sometimes very strongly. Looking back during the years he was growing, I don't think I treated him as kindly as I should have. I was strict, even harsh at times. But now, seeing him rise all the way to Crown Master and preparing to reach Imperial Master, as his brother-in-law, I feel incredibly proud and genuinely happy for him. I'm sure you must feel very proud. You have watched his journey from the very beginning, and he is always also family. So, Imperial Master Kim Sang-yeol, from your perspective, believe are the essential qualities of the true leader? Many books say it, many leaders repeat it. A leader must be a dreamer. Your dream must be clear. Your direction must be certain. Only when you know exactly where you're going can you truly lead others. And you have to walk that path every single day. But many people, even many who want to succeed, struggle with consistency. They work passionately when they feel motivated. But then suddenly the fire goes out and the momentum stops. A true leader's journey should be continuous, not up and down. Someone with a real dream keeps moving forward every day in any situation. For me personally, one thing that helped me tremendously was the fact that I was poor. That desperation, as strange as it sounds, became my strength. Looking back, it gave me a very clear, unmistakable goal. Let me tell you why my goal became so clear. When I first started at Tommy, the very first thing I did was call my landlord, my house owner. At the time, I was living in a small room. A deposit of 3 million won and monthly rent was 300,000 won. I called my house owner and said, "Sir, I have been laid off from my company. Up until now, I've never once been late with rent. But from this month on, I won't be able to pay. Please don't call me about it." 근데 지금 생각해도요, 애터미일은 그러고 해야겠더라고. That was it. 10 months. After 10 months, everything could collapse. Many family would end up on the street. So I knew I have 10 months to change my life. I must win within 10 months. And with win, I decided. It was a combination of absolute clarity and deep desperation. And even now, when I look back, I believe this is how you must approach the atomy business. Starting the business without any real preparation, with no business mindset, like my brother-in-law did in the beginning, that is something I have always disliked. I want people to begin this knowing what this is with the right mindset already in place. When you know what you're doing and once you have truly made the decision to do this, then from the moment on, you must pass 30 years to work into 3 years. We are not employees. This is not a salary job. Do you know how long it usually takes for a restaurant to succeed or fail? How long before a restaurant proves whether it will survive or close? It's not that long. It doesn't take long. For a restaurant, the verdict comes in just 6 months. If it does well for 6 months and the recipe stays consistent, it grows steadily. But if customers don't come for 6 months, the restaurant has to close. That's the reality of business. Every business has a critical time window. And for Tommy, you must finish the real battle within 3 years. Out of my 18 years of Tommy, the period when I was completely immersed, fully focused, fully committed, working like my life depended on it, was just 3 years. Those 3 years made everything that followed possible. That's the main point that I want to say. And to me, that's the core principle. The level of focus and effort is what makes the difference between ordinary results and extraordinary success. As we talk, we naturally uncovering some of Imperial Master Kim Sang-yeol's business strategies, but I would love to hear more. Personal business tip. Something specific beyond what already shared about what you actually did during those 3 intense years. A lot of people want one thing. They want to learn know-how. Absolutely, that's true. People want to learn know-how because they want things to be easy. They want to succeed quickly and effortlessly. But honestly, is there anything in this world that leads to success easily? Atomy is already a perfect system. From what I've seen, we sell excellent products at affordable prices, and we are safer and more stable than any other company. You all know this well. Has Tommy ever once delayed your commissions even when you worked hard? I've been in business since my 20s, so I know how difficult and uncertain business can be. But compared to all that, Tommy is incredibly simple. So my advice is this: be faithful to the basics. What are the basics? First, you must create customers. Create consumers, whether they are people you know for complete strangers. If you're starting, talk to at least 10 people a day. And for those of you who are already sales master or above, have at least 300 people in your downline. Communicate with 10 people within your team every day. That's the foundation. And if you stay consistent with these basics, the results will follow. Sometimes you need to set a goal that feels a little beyond your comfort zone, something slightly overwhelming, because training yourself to reach those goals is how you grow. Let me share something I said in the office in the morning. It's a bit strong. If your sales flow isn't moving right away, don't just stare at your partner's faces. At the very least, you should be generating 10,000, 100,000 PV a day yourself. Set that as your goal and run with it. Because in the business, doing your part is essential. Yes, you sell products, but you also use a lot of products. Your family uses it and them, and your household uses them. So at minimum, aim for 50,000 PV a day. And if you want to reach Imperial Master someday, set your target as 100,000 PV a day. For me, I did 300,000 PV a day. People who set clear goals like this and steadily work toward them are the ones who move towards success. Those are the real leaders. And the results, they come later. But when they do, they are enormous. It's the effect of compound of interest, isn't it? Exactly. When you run every day toward that goal, your ability naturally increases. Right, you don't even realize it happening, but it grows without your noticing. That's right. Most people sit and worry endlessly, but don't do that. In the beginning, your body needs to move, your tongue, you have to talk, you need to feel tired. If your body is exhausted from action, you'll sleep well at night. Don't be discouraged. Set a daily goal and absolutely achieve it. If you do that, you are already walking the path toward becoming an Imperial Master. Thank you for sharing. So Kim, Imperial Master Kim, know-how is to do 100,000 PV a day, do what needs to be done. From your perspective, what would you say is the core of Tommy business? You mentioned earlier that he came this morning to scold you again, right? I also talk about this a lot in my lecture. I was scolded for years. So now I find myself scolding others. So people do very well, but some people avoid giving feedbacks or corrections, right? Because it is uncomfortable. Because it feels uncomfortable. Some people say they are staying quiet for the other person's sake, but honestly, that doesn't make sense. Anyone who has been scolded by their sponsor will eventually scold their own team. And you know what? Those organizations grow. Teams have to give tough feedback to grow. Teams that give, right? And absolutely, they grow tremendously. And now I really understand why. Back then, I used to think, what is his problem? I'm doing my best. I'm working hard. But from the sponsor's perspective, it wasn't enough. They could see things I couldn't see. They knew that if I kept doing things that way, it couldn't work. That's right, because they are absolutely been there.
저놈이 일을 어떻게 하고 있나 하고 위에서 이렇게 지켜보고 있는 이게 스폰서 눈에 다 보이는 거야.
And the scolding continues. Because in a Tommy registering someone doesn't cost any money, right? There's no entry fee.
너안 되겠다. 저를 붙잡고 우리 와이프랑 뭘 하나 사러 갑니다. 아이스 가방.
아이스박스.
아이스박스.
And I buy an ice box.
잔소리죠. 얘 이랬다가는
But
여기서 못한다.
instead of giving up on me, they literally grabbed me and
내가
took me
갔는데
shopping. My brother-in-law and my
손 놓고
sister
내가 하는
bought 2
거지.
ice boxes, 2 cooler
내가
bags,
너하고 한 게
and then
아니잖아.
came
그렇죠. 해줄 수
to
내가
있는
scolding.
거지.
If you
그러니까
keep
거기에
doing
긴장이
this,
되게
you'll never
있는데
succeed. Fill
그것까지
these with
아이스값
products and get
상관을 많이
moving.
쓰던 하나.
That was
그 두
their
개를
follow-up
탁
care.
여기다
But
제품
here's the thing,
끼워.
they couldn't
그때가
succeed for
여름에
me.
있었어요.
Success isn't
여기다
something
화장품
your
남한테
sponsor
탁
or your
끼워가지고
family does for
집어넣고
you.
뛰어.
I had to do it myself. Their job was to guide me, nothing
이거 내가
more.
할 수
They
있을까?
gave me those 2
나
ice
그래서 뭘
boxes. I think
해봤어요.
they
지금.
were around
네.
30,000 won
근데요.
each,
동화문
and said,
통화한다고
put all the products inside
진짜
and go.
명단이 나오더라.
Start running. It was
제품을
the
전달할
summertime then,
명단이
so I
그걸 갖다
unpacked
딱
all the
먹으니까
cosmetics,
봄이
loaded
가니까
them into
나오더라.
the coolers, held them in my arms, and
저는
for
그 일이
3
좀
days I went out
첫
doing my
번째 첫걸음
first
뛰기는
real sales,
어려웠지만
carrying those ice boxes
뛰고
everywhere.
나니까 10걸음 100걸음
Can I
첫걸음을
really do
뛰겠더라고요.
this? You
그리고
don't
소개도
know
받으라고
until
소개도
you
받으라고
go
뭐
out and
재밌더라는
actually
거죠.
try.
그때부터
And
이게
amazingly, once I
그쪽이
stepped
되네?
out, names
와,
started
안
coming
되네.
to mind.
내가
People
너무
I could
두려웠는데
deliver products
이런
to.
부분이다.
Just holding that
그러니까
cooler
저는
bag
그때
made the
두 번째
list
때려서
appear as I thought about it.
그래서
Taking the
장사를
first
하는
step
습관은
was the
무조건 있어야 됩니다.
hardest. But once I started running, I found myself ready
그리고 그
to
모습을 나도
take
어느새
10
목대를
steps,
해서
100
지금
steps, and 1,000
소개팅
steps.
사실 엄청
And when I started
하시더라고요.
receiving refers too,
네.
that's when it
근데요, 그게
became fun.
잔소리가 아니었고요. 보지 못하는 것을 내가 본 것이고요.
네, 알려준 거고.
어찌
But
보면
now it's not really
저로부터
nagging.
공감이라는
It's
게
simply
탄생이
seeing what
됐는데
they can't see
사람들이
for
참
themselves and
그
pointing it out. In
밖에는
fact, from
참 많이
him came to the
나갑니다.
birth of
네.
Million
많이
Dollar.
나가는데 결과가 별로 없기 때문에 쉽게
But
포기를
here's
하고
the
있어요.
truth.
되지
These
않아요.
days, a
예,
lot of
결과가.
people go
예.
out and try.
근데
But because
여러분들은
they don't see
결과를
immediate
보면 안
results,
돼요.
they give up
아.
too
왜
quickly.
그러냐면 내가 지금 50대 넘어가지고 다 모든 운동을
When you don't see
시작했거든요.
immediate
네.
result, you get
승마,
discouraged. But everyone,
수영.
don't
근데
focus
그
on the
모든
result
것들이
too soon. Let me explain
힘 빼는
it this way.
과정이
I started learning
필요하더라고요.
all kinds of
그러니까
sports
수영을
after
하다
I turned
보면
50.
막
Skiing,
물에 뜨려고 힘을
horseback
막
riding,
쏟고
swimming. And I realized something.
그러니까
Every sport
한번
requires a
지쳐가지고
moment
물에
where you
푹
learn
빠집니다.
to let go
이
of
일도
tension.
마찬가지예요.
Take swimming, for example.
점점
When you
어쩌면
tense
운동하면서
up
힘
and try
빼는
too
과정을
hard, you get
겪고
exhausted
나중에
quickly and
결과가
sink.
나오는 거예요.
This
그리고
business is
여러분들이
actually
우리는
the same.
유통에 살거든요.
You have to go
네.
through the process
유통에
of
살기 때문에
releasing
유통
tension,
경험이
just
있어야만
like
나중에
learning a
여러분이
sport.
강의를 할 수
And
있어요.
only then do the
여러분 성공해야
results
될 거예요.
start to appear.
근데
And remember, we
경험이
are
있어야
a
강의할 거 아니에요.
distribution company.
콘텐츠가.
그렇죠.
Because we are
그때
in
만들어지는
distribution, you
그러면
must
그때
gain
그거 가지고 내가
distribution
지금도 잘
experience
써먹고
to
있거든요.
one day deliver powerful
제가 또
lectures.
소문을 들었는데
You will all
예전에
become
세미나
successful
출석
leaders.
1등을 하셨다고 들었거든요.
And I also heard a rumor about you.
네.
That you once
모든
ranked number one in
사람들이요.
Is that
뭘
true?
막
Yes, it's
성공하고
true.
싶어
Most
하고
people want to
처음부터
succeed
잘하려고
right
합니다.
from
근데
they want to
나는
be great
처음에
from
생각했을
day
때
one. But when I
내가 지금
first
잘할 수
started,
있는
I
것부터
thought,
내가
let me begin with
해야겠다.
what I can already do
근데
well.
그것이 1등을
And if I was
그 세미나
doing
참석하는 거 1등하고
if I was going to
그리고
do it, I decided I would
사무실
be number
출근하는 거
one at it.
1등하고
네.
So I
남들이
become number
싫어하는
one in
청소하는 거
seminar
내가 하고
attendance. Number one in showing up at the
우리는
at the
서로
office,
사람과
and I
사람이
cleaned the
연결되는
places
일이거든요.
no one else wanted to
여러분 같은
clean.
경우는
Over time, I
여러분
learned
소통사가
something
어떤
important.
사람이면
Our
좋겠습니까?
business is fundamentally
나같이
about
1등
people
하겠다고
connecting with
부지런한 사람이
people.
좋을까요?
Now think
아니면
about it. What kind of
제일
sponsor
빠진
would you
그런
want to
스폰서를
have?
원하십니까?
Someone who is
지금
diligent,
여러분들이
who aims to be first, or someone who is
1등이
lazy or unmotivated?
내가 할
Exactly.
수 있는
So
것에서
you
1등을 해보자.
should become that number one
그리고
person.
특히 돈 없는
Be number
분들은
one at what I
백만갑을
can do. That's right.
가까운
And
지역에서 하세요.
especially for new members, start building your
지금도
$1 million
한국도
organization
마찬가지고
close to home, right
전
around
세계
you.
시장 이제
Even in
시작이에요.
Korea and all around the
아직도
world,
애터미 제품을
the
살 수가 있는 소비자가
Atomy market is
지금
just beginning.
나를
There are
기다리고
still
있다는
countless
거예요.
consumers
할수
who have
있을까요?
never used
엄청나게
Atomy
많은
products and
소비자가
who are
나를
waiting
기다리고
for you.
있습니다.
네.
Still,
그렇기
do you think
때문에
so? Absolutely. There are
여러분들이
so many
나가세요.
people waiting.
나가셔.
So you must go out and tell
내가
them.
할수
Start
있는
with what's
그럼요.
close
그럼요.
and familiar. And
그것부터
then expand
시작해서
step by step.
차츰차츰
You're right.
늘려가는
Those were
거예요.
incredibly
네.
practical tips.
너무 좋은 것 같아요.
And
현실적인
since you
팁이신
mentioned
것 같아요.
earlier that
그럼요.
Crown
그러면은
Master
제가
Kim is
사실은
planning to
저희
visit
촬영하기
Australia next
직전에
year.
이제 김사 크라운 마스터님하고 해외 사업 얘기 잠깐 했어요. 이제 내년에 호주 방문을 계획하고 계시다고.
And I
그런
can't
얘기를
not
하다가
ask
이제 그럼
about your
글로벌
global
사업을
business
제가 안 여쭤볼 수가
strategies.
없잖아요.
그렇죠.
그래서 두 분은
So,
글로벌 사업은 어떻게 하고 계신지 조금 궁금한데
Crown Master Kim,
단장님한테 먼저 좀 부탁드려도
could we
괜찮을까요?
start with you? How are you approaching global expansion? Since starting at Tommy, I think I've traveled to about 20 countries. I've got Japan scheduled for November, China in December. China is practically routine because it's so close, and Thailand is also lined up. Here's the important part. No matter how far you travel, you must be connected to the right sponsor. Because if you don't learn properly here, it doesn't matter how many times you go abroad, it won't work. Here at home, you should receive proper training every morning. But some people say, oh, I already know everything, and they stop showing up, doing things their own way. And those same people say they want to expand overseas. My advice, don't go. You'll run into big trouble abroad. Why? Because you haven't built the basics. When you go global, you're not going on vacation. You're going there to build your organization and expand your lineage. If you haven't learned the fundamentals here first, you will fail overseas. You won't even be able to communicate properly. I learned a lot about this strategy from the Imperial Master to sticking with his principle, sticking to Tommy's principle. I believe that's the key. Sounds like you are saying that the overseas business is no different from what we do in Korea. Do what you're supposed to do, participate in the system, go to the center, attend the seminars. Then for our sponsor sitting next to us, do you have any tips on how you believe overseas business should be done?
근데 그런 부분도 스폰서한테 배웠잖아. 회장님한테도 좀 그런 전략을 좀 많이 배웠던 거야. 회장님 고집대로.
And what he said, I tried what he said to me to do.
원칙이 아닌가 저는 생각을 합니다.
It is his principle.
해외 사업도 한국과 다를 바가 없다라고 말씀해 주신 것 같아요. 해야 될 걸 하자, 시스템에 참석하는 거. 네, 센터 출근, 세미나 출근 말씀해 주셨는데 이제 옆에 계시는 우리 스폰서님이 생각하시는 해외 사업은 이렇게 해야 돼 하는 그런 팁들이 있을까요?
많은 분들이 그 해외 사업에 대해서 어떤
Is there a tip that we need? There's a
나가면 잘 될 것 같은 그런 생각을 합니다.
맞아요.
근데 저 같은 경우는
there's
내가
a
살고 있는
many
지역부터 다
things that we
접근한다. 그리고 그
and I
지역을
want
점점
to
넓혀간 거예요.
and expand
그러니까
it.
지금 나는 해외 사업 하려고 안 했거든요.
I never thought to go abroad. A lot of people have this sort of dream about doing business overseas. Yes, many think that once you go abroad, everything will do well. But in case I focused on completely establishing myself in the area where I live first, then I gradually expanded the territory outward. So honestly, I never planned to do global business, and I didn't put any special effort to overseas expansion yet to do. I think I know I have partners as well over the world or not. Yes, there's everywhere, all around the world. And I travel to many countries giving lectures. Almost all the places I've visited, there's one location that left a deep impression on me. It was truly moving, one of the most memorable seminars I've ever delivered. That place is Pensacola, Florida. Just before entering the Florida region, there was a seminar scheduled there, so I went. We were supposed to start in the afternoon, but suddenly a hurricane hit. The front doors of the hotel, the big entrance doors, were blown off and the electricity went out, but we still had to hold the seminar in that hotel. So I thought there's no way we can do the seminar today. But when I arrived at the seminar room, there's a remarkable thing that happened. And when I went to the seminar room, about 50 people had shown up. They came through the hurricane. Amazing, right? Yes. There was still no electricity. Only a few emergency lights were on. So we lit some candles, and since people had come, we had to go ahead with the seminar.
많은 분들이 사업을 시작할 때 해외 사업이든 뭐든 좋은 환경을 원합니다.
How desperate do you think those people were? When I stood there getting ready to give lecture to people who had come with that level of desperation, my own heart started burning. It reminded me of my early days, so I delivered lecture with I had, and even in that darkness, they were widening their eyes, trying to so hard to catch every word I said. Many people, when they start a business, whether it's overseas or domestic, want a good condition. They say, why doesn't Tommy provide more support? Why is this all we get? But everyone, overseas business at Tommy has just begun. There are still many shortcomings, but going forward, the company will improve more and more. The company's infrastructure will continue to get better. Your future partners will do business under much better conditions. So let me ask you, do you want to start now, or do you want to wait until everything is fully built and perfect before you begin? The people who struggle now will be the ones who succeed. And for those who say they want to do overseas business right away, I always tell them this. When someone has saved up maybe around 10 million won and says they want to go overseas for their first business trip, do you know what I tell them? I'm curious, what do you say? I tell them, don't expect anything. Just go and enjoy your trip. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Go on vacation. This time, just treat it as a holiday and meet people casually you're here. But honestly, even though we want to relax and not to put too much pressure on ourselves, it's not easy in the beginning. And because it's the first time, we get excited and nervous. How do we train ourselves for that? How can we learn to take pressure off? As I mentioned earlier, you need to stay committed to the basics and do them every day. Stick to the basics. If there is no one to talk to, then talk to your bag and you go out and take your bag and go out and talk to people. If there are people, let them experience the products as much as possible and introduce just one consumer, just one. Most people try to see results immediately and start looking for business partners. Don't look for business partners. If you keep finding consumers, business partners will naturally emerge from among them. So what I tell people around me is, don't try to recruit business partners, just introduce one consumer, just one. Keep saying that. Listening to the two of you, another question comes to mind. You're already on the path of success. You've already achieved so much. But within Atomy, is there a new goal or plan that you still want to accomplish? My goal, of course, is to become an Imperial Master and to reach Imperial. What do I need to do? Ultimately, unless my partners succeed, I cannot succeed either. That's something I learned from my sponsor back then and even now. So whether I'm traveling overseas or staying in Korea, I still pay very close attention all the way down to the very bottom of the organization. Even today, before coming here, I had a meeting at a center because a new person had visited. Instead of telling them, go look into it more. And I said, no, just do it. We have already verified everything. We have already done the checking. All you need is to start. Whatever you don't know, everyone here will help you with it. And I told them, from now on, don't use the phrase, go check it out. What more is there to check? All you have to do is to show up. There are plenty of people ready to help you. So my goal is to reach Imperial, of course. And now I want to...
임페리얼까지 가는 그 길에 솔직히 저는 한 번도 긴장을 놓아본 적이 없거든요.
And I wasn't never nervous. But though I was successful, I realized that my partner was not succeeding. That's when I stayed extremely tense.
그리고 계속 올라가지고 뭐 이미 임페리얼 되기 전에 거의 7천만 원, 8천만 원.
Yes, it sounds like you're saying that we should come good sponsors and good leaders. Then I guess, what goals plans do you have next do you have? From the moment I started at Tommy until I reached Imperial, honestly, I don't think I ever once let my guard down. Why? Because after 3 years, I became a successful person, earning around 30 million one month, and kept increasing. Even before becoming Imperial, I was earning about 70 to 80 million won. But though I was successful, I realized that my partners were not succeeding. That's why even when I became I stayed extremely tense. Looking back, that tension and awareness helped me a lot. But once I achieved Imperial and started wearing the badge, something changed. I wasn't thinking it, but it felt like this called the pride and arrogance had settled on my shoulders. And because of that, I realized recently that I wasn't looking closely enough at my partners anymore. So what should I do? My conclusion was this. At the official events, I will wear the formal badge that reflects my rank. That is necessary. But when I off stage, in informal settings, I should wear the pin of my actual working level mindset. That way I can mentally bring myself back down, go lower, and truly be humble and pay attention to how my partners are doing and what they need.
김사학 단장님과 일맥상통하는 것 같아요. 직급을 달아도 내가 최고 직급자가 돼도
We need to be humble.
세세하게 살피고
We
챙기는
need
게
to look close to our
되어야
partners.
된다라는 말씀이신 것 같아요.
아니 뭐 실질적으로 보면요 다른 리더들이 더 잘 챙기고 있어요. 나는
네.
말로만 이럴 뿐입니다.
너무 겸손하신 것 같아요.
You know,
네.
something you really need to understand is I'm not sure what you consider from someone who is truly aiming to become an Imperial Master. Your big points per day. That's what I should call. So honestly, I don't know what the person who asked the question considers. But here's what I've learned through experience. Your line and small line will change countless times. Every Imperial Master on your journey has watched your big line and small line. The smaller lines will switch over and over. It changes as you grow. Now, if the person asking this question is really struggling financially, if you urgently need income right now to make a living, then you should focus on strengthening your smaller lines at the moment. But if you're not in that kind of financial difficulty, and you can manage your current living expenses, then you could focus on expanding it significantly first.
대실적이 얼마인가를 잘 모르겠습니다. 근데요, 제가 해보니까 대실적, 소실적이 수도 없이 바뀌고 있다는 겁니다.
And it's changing
모든
randomly.
인플루언서들은 대실적, 소실적이 바뀝니다. 근데 성장하면서 바뀌어요. 지금 질문하시는 분이 만약에 진짜 지금 먹고 살기가 힘들어가지고 지금의 어떤 일을 해서 돈을 벌어야 된다면 소실적으로 지금 그렇지 않으시면 지금은 그래도 뭐 먹고 사는 데 지장 없으면
and if you don't have are financially difficult, then you can wait.
그러면 앞으로
And for on, you can balance the both lines and you can be a good leader. And with the question,
다 말씀해 주셨는데 저도 근데 그런
and
같은 생각이거든요.
he said
근데
everything.
진짜 아니 도대체 대실이 얼마길래?
So how much is to be a bigger line?
주신 분이 어떤 분인가?
이렇게 고민할 정도면 어느 정도이길래?
제가 봤을 때
Now, if a person asking his question is really struggling financially, if he is urgent to need right now to make a living, then they should focus on strengthening the smaller lines at the moment. But if they are not in the kind of financially difficult and they can manage their current living expenses, then they could focus on expanding their bigger lines significantly first and their smaller lines and just wait a little bit and build the site first and then it can be helped. And saying that obsess too much over which side is big or small, we should just hard work. That's how I understood it. Exactly when you see someone who is truly working hard, sincerely, and running towards success, that's what all comes down to.
키워서 키우는 게 우리가 일이에요, 결국은.
여러분 그냥 열심히 하면 된다고 하시네요. 네, 답변이 되셨길 바랍니다.
The question is, I feel the vision of Atomy and I'm running hard toward the goal of success. But I don't have any business capital and I don't have many acquaintances. The reality in front of me feels overwhelming and my heart becomes impatient.
이 질문은 또 어떻게 생각하시는지 궁금한데 답변 부탁드립니다.
What should I do in this situation?
제 얘기거든요, 제 얘기. 제가 돈도 없고.
Question tells me about my story.
대부분의 사람들이 실패하는 이유가 그겁니다.
In a way, this question is really about me. I was the one who had no money, who felt frustrated and stuck. And this is actually the reason why most people fail, because they get impatient. Their mind becomes tight and restless, even though what they need to do is focus on the actual work. But instead of going to work, they get consumed by impatience. And when that happens, you will fail 100%. If you simply do the things you need to do every day, constantly, then one day you'll look back and realize what you're standing in the seat of a successful person. If you don't have people, then you need to create consumers. If you really want to success but don't have people, start by finding consumers until you reach 3 million points. Just do that for a month. That's enough. But people keep looking for something special. They ask, is there a special secret, a hidden trick? There is no secret. If you don't have consumers, find consumers. If you don't have business partners, share the vision with the consumers so some of them can eventually become partners. This business is built when people connecting with people. So if you show your struggles on your face, if you look desperate or miserable, people will never approach to you. But you have to smile. You have to be happy. Show your good expression to others. Haha. You have to keep going. Exactly, look, it's going to be hard no matter what. That's difficult.
내 안에서 동기부여를 계속 찾고 꾸준히 하는 수밖에 없겠네요. 그죠?
You have to feel motivation.
괜찮다니까요.
It's gonna be better. The infrastructure is gonna improve.
이미 검증이 되어 있고
그럼요.
열심히 계속해서 해나가면 되는 것이다. 네, 라는 말씀해 주신 것 같아요. 네. 그러면은 같은 질문에 대해서 단장님은 어떻게 생각하시는지.
And what do you think about this question?
잘하는 것부터 해라 이렇게 말씀을 드리고
I want to tell you this. Start by doing what you're good at. When you try to follow others, doing things you're not even good at, you get stressed. Yes, you feel that stress because you want to do well, and that's normal. Someone who doesn't think about anything wouldn't feel stressed. They wouldn't even say it hard. But everyone says it's hard because they all want to do well. So then, what does it mean to do well? What are you actually good at? Maybe you're the first one to show up every morning. Maybe you're someone who comes in and cleans diligently. When you put your ego down, work becomes manageable. But a lot of people just show up after everything is already prepared and simply pick up their spoon to eat. There are surprisingly many people like that. But there are also a few people who always come early, cleaning the bathroom, wiping the floor, tidying the desk. Those people enjoy the work. And because they are doing what others don't want to do, they don't quit easily. But the ones who just come in to pick up the spoon quit very quickly because they only pursue what's easy. So what are you genuinely good at? Choose that and start with. Whether it's cleaning, selling products, and talking about business as a business partner. You have to do it for 3 years. 3 years is the minimum years. When you do it consistently, people know and notice how hard you do. Once you decide what you're good at and commit to it, if you keep doing that one thing steadily, the people around you will start recognizing you. And eventually, the people around you will fill in the areas where you're lacking. But most people give up too quickly. They do something intensely for a week and then quit. They work like crazy for a week, thinking success is just around the corner. And then they stop. Or they keep it up for a month and quit it again. Just when people start thinking, oh, this person is really trying, maybe I should help them, that person disappears. They vanish even though people are waiting to see if they stick around. No one likes to clean the restroom. I mentioned this earlier when I used someone else's center. When I was working for other center, you know how we use their facilities. Who enjoys cleaning restrooms? Nobody. But I think I cleaned the restroom for about a year. a full year. Later, when people started coming to the center regularly, I told them, don't do it. I'll take care of it. And I would come early to do it myself. That really made me lower myself. And I tried to be humble. And when you meet all kinds of people, you hear all kinds of things. Comments, criticism, little hurtful remarks here and there, right? But when you're doing things that others don't want to do, those comments don't hurt as much because you already lowered yourself. And honestly, that helped me a lot.
예를 들어서 내가 출장 갔다. 내 파트너가 나를 찾아왔다.
And my partner visits, someone will help that person instead of me. So it's not just about doing what you're good at. You actually look for things other people didn't want to do and choose to do them on purpose. Exactly. Nobody likes cleaning bathroom. But I told everyone, don't touch it for a year. I'll take care of it. When there are more than 100 people coming through, of course the bathroom gets messy. So I would be the first one to arrive and start with that. And what happened? People naturally tried to help me. They said, let me get you a cup of coffee. Or for example, who are you here to see? And I'm here to see. When someone tried to see me, there's another person who are helping them. So doing what you're good is important, but you deliberately took one thing others avoided for about a year. And because of that, people naturally started supporting you. You have to stick to the basics.
근데 사실은 그 과정이 누군가 인정해주고 알아봐주지 않을 때가
So
더
for me, I
많잖아요.
focus on a lot
마지막에 이제
on doing
인정받는
basic
건데
fundamental
그
things.
중간중간
Yes, it
그런
really sounds
것들을
like
위기가
you are
왔을 때
true.
어떻게 이겨내셨는지
Yes,
또
and even
궁금해지거든요.
now it's the same when someone is serious about the business. But in reality, during that process, most of the time, no one recognizes you or acknowledges your effort. You only get recognized at the very end. So I'm curious, how did you overcome the difficult moments in the middle when there was no recognition and things felt tough? I had a clear goal, even when there were no people around me and the dream inside was me solid. And I want to ask this question. Did you ever feel discouraged during your journey? I'm sure you did, maybe many times. Honestly, after crying, I actually felt refreshed. Pride, it's okay to meant to cry.
내가 경험했던 게 그때 파트너 정말 시원해요.
Even if you break down once, you just shake it off and start again tomorrow. Exactly. I tell people you're allowed to cry. When it's hard, cry, but each kind of tear is different, right? There are tears from sadness, tears from joy, tears from pain. And when you tried everything and still doesn't work, sometimes you just have to let those tears out. And there's nothing wrong with a man crying. And after you cry, things look different. And that's experience.
네, 마지막으로 오늘 저희 메이크 임페리얼 쇼를 함께 하신 소감을
And it looks like a great time and you look satisfied. That makes me happy too. Thank you. How was today for you? To be honest, when my brother-in-law, Crown Master Kim, is a very long time to see him, and I first talked about doing this together. I felt a bit uneasy after even saying yes.
소리를 옆에서 계속 듣고 있자니 정말 공부 많이 했어요.
And I studied hard.
리허설 잠깐 할 때도 제가 많이 적었거든요.
And I wrote down before. I regret that I didn't write down.
그 스폰서가 어떤 스폰서이냐. 오늘 또 듣고.
And it's important what's the sponsor that I work with.
열심히 풀어낼 것 같아요.
그러니까요.
그래서
And when I go,
역시 필요하다.
And the sponsor is needed as always.
네, 너무 좋은 시간 보내신 것 같고 또 만족하신 표정이 보여가지고 저도
And I can see that you are satisfied.
네, 그럼 이제 옆에 계시는 이제 김광열 임페리얼 마스터님은 어떠셨나요?
솔직히 우리 처남인 이 김사 크라운 마스터를 처음에
And when I meet my brother-in-law and when I asked him to be in this show together, I was worried because we look across too strong.
이게 너무 세게 나가지 않을까 걱정을 많이 했는데 하다 보니까 참 오랜만에
And it was
좋은 시간을
it was fun
세지 않으셨어요.
to be part
그리고
of it.
또 다시 한번 내가 초창기부터 지금까지 그 여정을 다시 한번
And through this journey, I know
그 생각을 하다 보니까 글로벌 회원분들이
And,
얼마나
and,
지금
and I know that
정상을
all
향해 가기 위해서
the
얼마나
Tommies in the
고생하고
boat,
있는지
they are doing a hardship
마음이
overcoming
좀
these
아픈
challenges.
시간도 있었습니다.
네.
여러분들
I sincerely
힘드신
hope
거
that
분명히
everyone
압니다.
watching today becomes
근데
an
어찌 보면
Imperial Master
성공은
someday.
그 인내하고 힘든 걸
When you
이겨내고 그
endure
다음에
and when
오는
you
게
overcome,
성공이지 않을까
and
싶은
after
생각이
that,
듭니다.
success
네.
comes.
나는 오늘 시청하시는 모든 분들이 임페리얼 되셔가지고
I truly
함께
understand how
성공을 좋겠어요.
difficult it is for all of
여러분들
you,
임페리얼
but
꼭
the
되세요.
success is something that comes
네.
after enduring hardship and overcoming
화이팅!
challenges.
정말.
That's what I believe.
먼저
I
가신
sincerely
분이
hope that
이렇게
everyone
기다리고
watching
계시는데
today
네, 성공하시면
becomes
너무
an
좋을 것
Imperial
같아요.
Master someday.
오늘
Please
이제 이렇게
become
알찬 얘기를 많이
Imperial. I'm
풀어주셔가지고
asking you
올
for
한해
fighting.
마지막 메이크
I
임페리얼
would. It would be
마무리가 될 것
wonderful
같습니다.
if everyone
네, 텀이
succeeds,
최고
especially when
집들이더들과
someone who has
함께하는
gone
성공
ahead
유지
winning
콘텐츠
here
메이크
like
임페리얼
this.
쇼.
Thank you
여러분
both
오늘도
for
저희와
sharing
함께
such
유익한
rich
시간
insights
보내셨죠?
today. It
이렇게
looks
메이크
like
임페리얼 쇼
we'll be
2025년의
able
마지막
to wrap
에피소드를
up
함께 했는데요.
this year's
올
final
한해 메이크
Make
임페리얼
Imperial
쇼를
show on a
시청해주신
high
모든
note.
애터미 회원분들께
This has been a
감사의
Make
인사드리고
Imperial
싶습니다.
show,
저희는
success leadership
2026년에도
content
더
featuring
알차고
Atomy
새로운
top
이야기
ranking
들고 찾아올
leaders.
수 있도록
I
하겠습니다.
hope you all had a
마무리하기
meaningful and
전에
beneficial
여러분들 끝까지
time with
해주시면
us
안
today.
되겠죠?
This was the
방송이
final
끝나고
episode
설문에
of
꼭
Make
참여해
Imperial
주시기
show for
바랍니다. 추첨을 통해서
2025.
저희가
To all
티모인
Atomy members
핫박스 이렇게
who
선물을
have watched
보내드리고
and
있어요.
supported us
꼭
throughout the
설문에
year,
많이
thank you so
참여해
much,
주시기
and we
바랍니다.
will return in
네, 그럼 저희
2026
다
with
같이
even more
일어나서 메이크
valuable
임페리얼
and
외치고
fresh
마무리해볼까
stories.
하는데
Before we close,
괜찮으시면
there's one thing we must not forget. After
제가
this
하나 둘 셋 외치면 같이 네, 선창하시면
broadcast,
되겠습니다.
please participate in
하나,
the
둘,
survey and we'll select winners and send a box of Hamilton as a gift. So make sure to take the journey and let's say, make Imperial, make Imperial.
구독, 좋아요 눌러주세요.